Hello, everyone. This is April 5th, 2022, and this is the bi-weekly SIG release meeting. My name is Adolfo Garcia, and I'm going to be your host today. As a reminder, this meeting is governed by the Kubernetes Code of Conduct, and which means be awesome to each other. Remember that this meeting will be recorded to the public internet, so be mindful of what you say and do. And with that, let us kick off this meeting for today. So the first thing we'd like to do is to give an opportunity to any new members who would like to say hello or introduce themselves. Okay, I see mostly familiar faces on the attendees list, so I think we can move to the next topic. Okay, the first one on the sub-project updates. For release engineering, I don't know if anyone would like to give say a few words. Otherwise, I can do it. Okay, well, yeah, just a quick update there. So the first thing to say is that we have established a canary release and testing process for the image promoter. So we now have valid confirmation and ongoing releases of the image promoter that are constantly testing the new image signing code. I mean, it's like the ultimate end-to-end test for the promoter, but we established that because we have been doing big refactors on that code, and we wanted to make sure it's running as it's supposed to. This means that we have already produced a couple of signed images. The first ones for the Kubernetes project, and it seems to be running well. There's still a bug on our side. Well, it's not on our side; it's rather on the SIG store side. That means that when we do the release candidate, depending on the timeframes, because we now have a few more days to get that merged in, it means that the identity that will sign the releases will not be the service account that we established to identify all of the Kubernetes organization signatures. We don't consider this to be a blocker because it's still a pre-release, and the upstream code in SIG store is already fixed, but we have to wait for a new release of Cosign to incorporate that change into our code. That is one, and I think that's the big one from our side. I don't know if anyone has any questions around that, or we can move to the next topic. Okay, so perfect. So let's move to the real topic of the day, the release team update. James, would you like to say some words?
Sure. So code freeze has passed. Test freeze is today. Well, today for US people, tomorrow for kind of more European people, in just under 12 hours. The big news, of course, as you may have seen on the email update from the Maroon, is that the RC0 cut has been delayed from today until next Monday. And the reason for that is that we have a blocking issue in Golang. The fix for that is known, and it is on Golang's main development branch and is being cherry-picked at the moment to their 1.18 release branch. There is a new version of Go 1.18.1, due for release this Thursday. However, our understanding is that's a security release with some security fix that I don't know the details of. And we don't know yet whether or not our fix will be in that. So the upshot of it, all this is that the RC0 is definitely delayed. There is a possibility that the release as a whole will be delayed if our fix is not, and that's made more likely if our fix is not in Go 1.18.1 that comes out on Thursday. So When that happens on Thursday, we'll have a little bit more information. But for now, we're just kind of waiting and hoping it makes it in there. And then we don't have to delay. But we'll see. Other than that, things are going all right. There's a few exception requests still knocking about. We've been asked to reevaluate one, so we're looking at that. There's one that came in on Friday, which I missed, and I'm looking at now. And we're probably going to have a response on that out after this meeting. And there are, I think, like 5 or 6 PRs still tagged, ready to go in on KK with a milestone. And my hope is we'll get that down kind of as test trees passes, we'll kick everything out. And then hopefully we'll be down to 0 PRs, which would be nice. And then we can just focus on stabilizing CI ahead of the release and getting the docs together and all the rest of it. So yeah, that's our current state. Any questions?
So my understanding of the bug that delay the release is that they Go 118 started rejecting CSRs with that were generating signed with hashed with SHA-1.
SHA-1, right? Yeah, they rejected SHA-1, and I'm not entirely certain of the exact failure.
Just because CSRs starting to get rejected everywhere, I guess.
Yeah, like the description of the fix is the fix that was done on their main branch, which is, let me just pull it out. So this is, I believe, this is the fix that's now merged onto Go's main development branch, and that's it looks like, yeah, they still want to be able to do SHA-1 on OCSP responses. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not fully familiar. And COLs, which I think is certificate revocation lists. So it looks like, yeah, they needed to, they just, it was a bug in how they did it, and that breaks everything because people still use SHA-1 apparently.
So once we have the security release, we'll know if that fix is included, and that will determine the next steps, right?
Yeah. So the next steps are either delay or don't delay, and we'll know on Thursday with a bit more clarity what to do.
Okay, so fingers crossed for that.
Pretty much.
All right, so any questions around the RC1 delay? Okay. Awesome. So perfect. So thank you for that update, James. Okay, so let's move to the open discussion topics. I see Jeremy had a follow-up from the retro. He had to drop from the call, but maybe we can wait for that and see if he comes back. Okay, so the next one is from Leo. CS signal board or view managing team to report things.
Yeah. Right. So last release, we created a new project board, so the GitHub beta project board, to track the CS signal issues. And we still have one Excel sheet left, which we manage kind of manually, I would say. So every release, we have to kind of transfer this knowledge, and the next lead takes this template and manages it. So I was thinking maybe also to remove this magic file kind of, which gets shared from release to release, and maybe we can just have like a second view of the project board which already exists for basically scheduling who is reporting for the release cuts and for the release team and so on. And there's this discussion linked. So I would just give it a shot and just see how it turns out in 1.25. What is everybody thinking about this? I think, like, in general, just moving away from those magic files that are getting shared by someone and then, I don't know, floating around somewhere. I think this is in general a good approach if we can move towards GitHub. So this was my thinking.
And what's in that spreadsheet?
So in that spreadsheet, I can, 1 second, copy. So this is the link to the spreadsheet, right? No, this is not the link. but there's still link. So to basically kind of plan who's reporting in the team for the release team and also for the release cut, and then observing test grid, we have this Excel file, and which is kind of not very crazy. It's not like the enhancement sheets, which is crazy optimized. This is just a simple spreadsheet, and yeah.
Okay, it's like a calendar, like the schedule of who's going to
Yeah,
be.
more or less, yes.
Okay, sounds good. I mean, maybe think about simply replacing it with a calendar that you can PR into the release directory in the SIG release repository. Could be a good way to handle if you don't want to over engineer it. But whatever you think the solution may be that doesn't involve too much coding. I simply always prefer the simplest solution. But, yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right. So any questions around that? Automating the reporting of the roster of CI signal reporting. Okay. So the next one is also for you, Leo. CI signal team kind of misses.
Right. Yeah. So the next two are more or less from this reliability cap. So the reliability cap, there's been a lot of discussion also in the community meeting, and I think also last week we discussed something about this. I think we talked about SIPI, and so some two more action items from this discussion. The first one is, at the moment, the CI signal team kind of misses powers to more or less enforce or to like just pinging people. Sometimes they don't respond. And for example, this one issue that I linked, if you go to basically the comments, you can see we commented more or less like 4 or 5 times, hello, is this, what's the status, and so on. So it's, yeah. Maybe there is like some, I don't know, I don't have right now something in mind, not the solution to this problem, but maybe like as like a brainstorm or open discussion, is there like anything that we can do more than just pinging people and writing in the chat to basically raise awareness or to, yeah, to get like those flags fixed?
So the problem is that you sometimes feel the owners of these problems do not respond, and you are powerless to do anything about it.
I mean, this is like also like a feedback from the discussion, so it's not just from me, but also from the authors of the cap. So they were thinking, if we have to move more into also reliability and so on, then there would be the need of some like superpowers or whatever, and for the CI signal team.
Well, okay, Eddie?
Have you DM'd the leads of the SIG yet?
Yes, we wrote over Kubernetes in the chat.
Then you DM'd them, right?
Yeah, we pinged them. So not directly like in a direct message, but we pinged them in like the general channel. So there was like the tag of the leads.
Yeah. I still go back to what I said at the last retro we did. I would post in the public channel and do the little share button directly to the leads. So in a DM, because as a lead myself, I cannot keep track of notifications anywhere, especially in channels. So the only way that I get notified is through DMs when I see a very separate #1 next to a different conversation. So that's just my thoughts, and do with it what you will. But yeah, I would DM them directly.
Okay.
James?
I think what we've hit on is really a common theme or feeling with the release team, in that we are, as members of the release team, we are responsible for a whole bunch of these milestones and other things, but we don't we neither decide on these milestones, because often SIG architecture, SIG release more generally, nor do we actually have the power to fully enforce them, because that lies with the SIGs. And I think that's true across a lot of areas. In general, I don't think I necessarily have a solution. As Eddie says, DMing leads. Maybe we need to put in make it more explicit in the handbook. You know, how leads expect you to deal with them, and things to do there. But yeah, I don't necessarily have a solution. Just kind of an observation that this is something we struggled with for a while.
I didn't mean to cut you off, James. Sorry. We used to have a leads spreadsheet with contact preferences. Does anyone remember this? Do you remember this, Adolfo?
Not contact preference. I mean, there's the list, but I don't remember filling contact preferences anywhere.
Yeah, I just keep coming back. Like the blocker that I fixed a few weeks ago, I got pinged on public channels on Slack. I got tagged on GitHub issues, and I missed all of them. And it wasn't until I got DM'd by, I think you, Leonard, or James, one of you DM'd me. We're like, hey, did you see this? And like, it got fixed in a few days. So I know that everyone just has different preferences for being contacted. And yeah, I want to believe they're not maliciously ignoring you.
Yeah,
could be. I mean, even between you and me, Leo, you've seen it. Sometimes you've had to come and ping me directly. I don't think it's the best way to do it. Starting number one, because we should always be paying attention to notifications, and the second is that communication should be as open as possible. But I wanted to defer a little bit on what you were saying. So an important thing here is that we have to consider that we are the release team, right? And we have the power to delay the releases if people are not responsive. So if a test is flaking, and so it's either it's a blocker test, we should, in theory, block the release on that, number one. And if it's an issue that should be paid attention, it should be release blocking, and it's not, maybe the test is not well categorized. So I think some more discussion should be around that. And because in the end, it's not the release team responsibility. I mean, it's their responsibility to obviously bring attention and to raise the issues and to ensure that the whole release team and release engineering teams are informed about the flaking test, but it's not our responsibility to get those fixed. And so if the owners of the problem do not fix those in time, I think it should be on them. Eddie?
Maybe it would be interesting to have like an escalation path or something like this. So first priority, like important soon, then milestone or whatever, then I don't know, 3 hands in the chat, so it's even more awareness, or I don't know. Maybe this would be interesting to identify what is basically the trigger to get a notification or like to raise awareness. So is it like the priority label? Is this like that? Probably
yeah, the
not.
escalation path is a good idea.
A few releases ago, we held off on code thaw until a bunch of flakes and blockers were fixed. Is that something we want to talk about again?
That's something that should be happening, really. And if we're not, maybe we're not doing things the proper way. I would certainly like to hear input on others about that, but I feel if we are not paying attention to the CI signal that we're getting, maybe we are not doing, or maybe it's some sort of a disservice to the project if we're not enforcing those boundaries.
I don't know how to raise my hand virtually, so I'm raising it physically. Sorry.
Okay.
I wanted to say that I think that this is obviously a people problem rather than a technology problem. but I feel it is specifically unfair to CI Signal because as a as a team historically, we and us, everyone has been contributing to better reporting tools over the years and over the cycles. And I don't think that this is my opinion. I don't think that this is a problem that can be solved with more processes. It's more about this from my experience, and I also don't take things personally. So what I wanted to share was that that same experience comes to the other way. So I have been on the receiving end as a release manager when I usually don't have the discipline to go like through issues or things that need to be approved, and people usually have to ping me or the release managers, and I don't get offended. Like I actually prefer that. So there have been like a couple of people who are release after release, like, hey, release managers, almost in a very like they seem irritated, right? And I don't know, that's the way it is. But we get it done. And so I think that is mostly on preferences, but we're so many people working here and different teams, different parts of it that we won't be able to keep everyone happy. Probably I'm too old for this. So if someone is not responding, then I'll ping someone else or whatever. That can be tiring, but at the same time, I don't think that there's like a silver bullet for everyone. Probably that's not helpful.
No, it is, but I feel that since different people have different ways of preferring their communications and things, maybe having like an established way of contacting people. So why just simply to answer, why aren't you pinging me directly? Well, because I did ABC and you did not acknowledge my messages. I mean, just to not put that burden into the CI Signal teams would be a good thing to have.
Yeah, maybe one thing that could be done after pinging the channel, then in the thread, right, I ping the release over DM or something, then it's also transparent. Yeah.
I'd say this would be a good discussion to have on the broader community call, and perhaps I can convey this as well on the tech leads and leads call, and maybe that would be a good way to also mention this. So I'll do that. Let me just put it in my to-do list, and we can chat this later discussion. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll bring it to the next one. Any more thoughts around that?
Yeah, I think we should revive that leads spreadsheet because I can't even find it now. It used to be linked into our monthly leads sync agenda, and I don't even see it there.
Yeah, and maybe somewhere a little bit more open than the spreadsheet that goes away would be also a good thing to have.
This had just like cell phone numbers. It's just like if it's something important, text me here, right? Like it's not something I'd want to publish publicly, but there's definitely a group of people who need that sort of escalation path.
All right. Yeah, I propose we bring it to the next shares and tech leads discussion and hear what others think about it. All right.
I just put it on the agenda for you, Adolfo.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so that was the last topic on the agenda. I don't know if anyone would like to mention something else or bring another topic.
The last topic.
Oh, sorry, I missed one.
It's still open, I think.
Okay, is it the reliability monitoring?
So yeah, so two basically action items came out of this discussion. The first one was how to raise awareness, or how to like those superpowers, or like, and so on. And the second one was they were thinking about adding reliability more to the CI Signal team, that we as a CI Signal team should look out for reliability issues. And if this is the case, basically on this cap, there's a lot of like points how to basically monitor reliability and so on. And I feel like this might be a lot of extra work, a lot of basically responsibility for the team. And if gets added to the team, there's probably not enough capacity to basically fulfill this goal, kind of. So I don't know if you read through the cap. It's kind of long, a lot of discussions, but yeah.
But what's the exact proposal they want to impose on the CI Signal team?
So this basic, so for this, so to basically monitor and then also force, or not force, there was also a discussion about how to basically carry this out, reliability issues. This should be done by some team, probably by SIG release team, and then by CI Signal. And there's, yeah, in detail, I have to walk through the steps again, but this seems like a bit out of scope for the current team, because there's currently still a lot of things that you have to do. So just to get this on the radar, if like new topics, new tasks get added to the handbook is already 20 pages long. We should consider changing something in the team. So if we have new focus, so for flaky tests and also for failing tests, and then reporting and so on, but then also to track reliability for long term, and then, I don't know, get in this discussion with the other teams. This might be a bit extensive. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not aware of what would actually monitoring the reliability would involve, but would certainly like to hear. I mean, yeah, I agree that team, but we can, I mean, if this is something the project needs, and we determine at some point that it may fall within our realm of responsibility, we could always retool and reconfigure the teams. I mean, that's a possibility, but I would like to know more about what sort of effort would involve monitoring the reliability.
Okay. Yeah. I think it would make sense to, I can reach out to the creators of this cap and then ask exactly what they think. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, if it's monitoring more boards, because reliability, I think it's an expression of an expression of the internal processes and the state of the code base of a certain area, which I think could blend with CI Signal. But if it involves a lot more, maybe we should rethink it. I'm not sure what they're proposing here, but if anyone has more context, would love to hear about it. I don't see something evident right now, but yeah, I mean, we should discuss it, but with more, I don't know, with more knowledge of the matter.
Makes sense.
Okay. Any questions around that topic? Yeah, so let's try to try to read a little bit more, and we can keep the discussion going, because to be honest, I've been skimming the cap and the discussion, but I didn't notice the the part of the CI signal that you were mentioning, but we'll try to understand. Okay. All right. So any other questions around the reliability cap and CI signal? All right. So I'd say let's keep that discussion going and maybe throwing some ideas around it. Okay. So maybe just correct me, but I think this is really the last item, Leo. Yeah. Yeah, sorry for missing that one. Okay, so the last, so just an invitation if anyone wants to discuss something else or bring another topic to the table, now's the time.
I would like to have a little bit of context, like too long didn't read about all the canary image promo signing thing that you have been working on. I'm also happy to wait and catch up in another call if someone else has a more pressing issue.
I mean, yeah, it's basically the update that I gave recently. So the idea is to have a promoter cut whenever. So we will be now constantly releasing new canary images for the image promoter, and those images will be promoting some of the images of the release engineering projects. So right now it's just the bill of materials tool. So we will be producing constantly an image of that, so we can test the promoter code.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I had more questions about. I saw that you did something, like you specifically, you Adolfo, you did something that was later dismissed. Like it was no, it was okay, but like it was later dismissed in favor of something else that Stephen. Another approach.
So the idea was that we were trying to set up the canary builds inside. So what we tried to do during the weekend was run the canary builds in the BOM repository. And so what Stephen did was he took those canary builds and moved those to the promoter repository. And then instead of just doing the canaries on one of the projects, we now have them inside of the promoter, and we can add more images to those if we need to.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, thanks. That was all I needed.
All right. Okay, so any other questions? Oh, I see. I know. Yeah.
I just want to give not a heads up. Basically, last Kitchen meeting, we have a conversation about promotion to S3. J Pipes from AWS opened an issue about this. I don't know if he reached out to you or someone inside release engineering about this.
Yeah, I saw the issue. He opened the issue. So the idea is just a super quick context. When we do the promotion of images, of the Kubernetes images, we are currently pushing them to the Google Cloud registries that we've all used for like forever. Then this project involves also making copies of those to be served in AWS locally for to basically not pay all the traffic from GCP to AWS. And J Pipes kindly offered to take on that effort, and he, like Arnold mentioned, he opened the issue and tagged me and Veronica in it. And yeah, this is as far as I saw yesterday that this thing has moved. I haven't heard on Slack from him recently.
No, I think they're catching up at the moment with all the tools that were provided with. So that's nice. And So I think the ball is on their side for now.
Exactly. There are some particular things inside of the promoter that we need to discuss of how we do the some of the copies inside, and also the promoter is limited in some aspects of which media types it will recognize. So we should talk about that. And but yeah, I'll follow up with Jay when he reaches that point.
Okay.
Is that something that we want to discuss like in the future once we are back in sync with them here in this meeting, or should one of us be embedded into the K Infra meeting, or just play it by ear?
I can be basically the point of liaison between release engineering and Kate Infra at this point. I'm not sure there's a great complexity in the problem we want to solve, because it's about basically push archives to an object storage. That's the basically entire point. The complexity is support of multiple providers, because we want at some point have at least GCS and S3. We can basically stick with that for a very long time. But unless there's something else we need to implement, I don't see real complexity. So it's gonna be kind of real straightforward path for that. But I can be liaison between Gates and Fire and release engineering.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Most of the discussions around the image promoter should happen in our release engineering meeting, because the promoter is a project from release engineering.
Yep.
And
Okay.
but it touches on that boundary with SIG Cifra, but any meetings are fine. And if anyone is interested in that topic, I recommend attending both meetings. So
Yeah, I'll try to attend the other one as well. Okay, great.
cool.
Thanks, Arno.
All right. Perfect. So any other questions around the copying of the images to AWS? Yeah, so they said this, there is like a time pressure on this project. So if anyone wants to help around that, help is very much welcome. Okay, perfect. So we have 4 minutes left. And if no one has any other topics, I think we can have those back and continue the discussion async. Perfect. All right. So very happy to see you all, and thank you for coming, sharing your points of view. See you.
Thanks all.
Thanks all. See you, team.
Ciao.
Bye.